Some good news in Jammu and Kashmir, where power employees have called off the strike after an agreement with the Union Territory Administration, which has agreed to put on hold the proposed joint venture in power sector and accepted other demands of the striking employees. Soon after midnight, the announcement electricity was then restored in parts of Jammu and Kashmir. Well, let's go across to Nazir for more. Nazir, that's good news for all the people who are facing these power shortages at a time of severe cold. Also, it seems the demands of the striking employees have been met?
Yeah, exactly. There's a written, agreement between the government administration and the striking power employees, and both the sides have signed on this agreement. And soon after the agreement, midnight agreement, and the power employees said they are restoring power supplies, and power supplies have been restored in most parts of Jammu and Kashmir. So for 3 days, it was very, very difficult time for the people living in sub-zero temperatures in most parts of Jammu and Kashmir, when we see unprecedented blackout, and army had to be called for restoration of restoring power supplies. That was the situation. 20,000 power employees were on strike, and they were, in fact, their demands were rather supported by the power employees association across the country from different states. They said what government is doing in Jammu and Kashmir is not right. It is going to set a dangerous precedent, because government has proposed to, privatize or have these joint ventures of the power assets, including the transmission and grid stations. This is what employees have been saying for last 3 days, that they are saying it was not their own personal thing. Besides their demands about the pay and other things, the main thing was that the assets, power infrastructure, that should remain with the state. It should not be handed over to the private, companies, the assets which have been built over decades in Jammu and Kashmir. So finally, government has to accept their demands, and there is a written agreement between the government employees and the administration, and they are saying they are going to put on hold this joint venture proposal, and there would be a committee of all the stakeholders, including these power employees, who would make their recommendation about how to move ahead in this thing. So big relief for the people after 3 days of blackout in Jammu and Kashmir.
All right, Nazir, thanks so much for joining us with those details.